This episode of the Opie Radio podcast is sponsored by OpieRadio.com. Get a shirt or a hat for Christmas or whatever holiday you celebrate. Now, on with the show. Opie's at Gebhards with the baby pigeon killer and his neighbor Judd. Wait till you hear the connection Judd has with Woody Harrelson. I can't wait to hear what dumb, fruity thing Opie's drinking because some things never change. So crank it up, you bitch. It's time for the Opie Radio podcast.
All right, we are live at Gebhards on the Upper West Side here in New York City. It's our beer culture joint, Vic Henley.
I love this place, man, and Matt's so good to us.
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't matter if it's 2 a.m., 2 p.m., or 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Get out of here, leave him alone.
Yes.
He opens up the tab, the food starts coming. It's always really fun.
He shuts down everything so he can podcast, which is very, very nice. It's really nice. It's a great place. You should check it out for yourself. If you find yourself in New York City or if you're a New Yorker, then come up to the Upper West Side. It's on 72nd Street. Also want to say hi to Judd, who's Vic Henley's neighbor.
Judd Jones?
Yes, sir. Thank you. All
Judd
right.
Jones.
As I burped.
Who's a comic. He had to go on social media and say that I don't think Opie knew I was a comic. so I want to make that perfectly clear that I did know you were a comic.
All right, fair enough.
You sent him on a beer run, and you were super picky about it, if you remember.
Well, that was the episode that's titled Vic Henley.
Pigeon killer.
Baby pigeon
Baby
killer.
pigeon killer,
whatever.
And Judd was definitely doing well on the podcast, and then he hit it out of the park at the end of that episode. If you never got to the end of that episode, go there and check out Judge's cow story.
Cow story.
Killer.
Killer.
That's right. Thank you.
It absolutely killed. So,
Thank you.
We're at Gebhards for another fine podcast. So
In a misty, rainy, crazy December.
And it's 50 goddamn degrees.
It's
Like-
57.
Yeah,
It's
like
almost
57.
60.
Oh, really?
absurd,
It's
yeah.
almost 60. I had to turn on my air conditioner when I went to bed last night.
Oh, my God. See, I'm just sweating because I've had the flu for 10 days, so I just assumed it was the flu that's making me sweat. But, okay, it's 60 degrees, so I'm overdressed for a day like today.
I thought it was everybody was finally discovered your talent level.
What does that mean?
Just sort of a dig.
I don't even get
You
it.
can't sleep at night because you're so horrible.
Oh, wow.
I was doing the old pre-mean.
He's going in early. He's going in early, isn't he?
Pre-mean me. I was just going.
Vic likes going in early.
Yeah.
He likes going in early with the insults, and then it
Well,
just
you
gets
brought me a
worse.
pear cider that tastes
No,
like a Jolly Rancher apple.
Well, I'll be honest with you. At Gebhards, they have so many different things to choose from. And I remember being here with our dear friend Carl. We were sitting at that high top over there in the corner, and he got me this pear cider.
Okay.
Because he said, you got to check this out.
Yeah.
It's pretty good, but
Fine.
but like you said, it tastes like
Blame the dead guy. He can't answer.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Sorry, I apologize. I'll stop doing it.
But
Not really.
but it tastes like a liquid Jolly Rancher, like you
It's
said.
so good, but it's almost too sweet.
It's good, but you can only
can't-
have one.
Yeah.
You can only have
But
one.
it's like when the Jolly Rancher shot. It's like any shot. You know, when the bartender or bar fly idiot goes, it tastes just like breakfast.
Yeah.
And they're like, yes, it does.
Yeah.
That was a Jameson and a butterscotch and an orange juice on the side. Tastes like you just had pancakes and waffles. No, but most of your shots that taste like something, Jolly Rancher or whatever, they do. But it's still a horrible.
But
choice.
I dare you to drink a full can of that.
I can't even. I went back to vodka
There's
soda.
no way.
No,
There's
no.
Straight
way.
to vodka soda.
I'm just gonna sip it. I mean, I'm still on medication for the flu.
I was going to say for other things.
what is that about?
You left the door open.
Oh, okay.
That's all. Don't leave the door open.
And we all got sick while we were down at Disney, man. Last time I saw you, I was
Yes,
just
you
about
were getting
to
ready.
leave for Disney. And that's,
Bootleg Disney.
Bootleg, that's right. It wasn't.
Although I don't want the family to get mad.
Yeah.
But it's.
well, it was we did Disney a little differently because my mother-in-law for her birthday wanted the whole family
Big
together.
milestone birthday, right? Sorry.
What?
Wasn't it a milestone, like a 60th or something?
Yeah. But-
Okay, so it's a big milestone birthday.
Yeah, and it was her 60th, so.
Sorry for outing her.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't look 60, trust me. But
She gave me a hand job in the 9th grade.
whoa, hey, now you're going after my mother-in-law.
Wait a minute, mother-in-law.
It's an age joke. It's an age. AG.
No, so she wanted everybody together in Disney for her big birthday, and we rented a house that had a Frozen theme.
Oh, so musical, the whole.
Yeah,
so Olaf and
it had like
everybody really.
Yeah, it had an Olaf thing near the pool, and it had rooms that kind of looked like from Frozen, and paintings all over the walls and stuff. It was very, very nice, but it was a lot because we left right after Thanksgiving, and this is the time of year where it gets hectic to begin with, and we went down there for a week to celebrate her birthday. But I mean, she can't change when her birthday is, right? 7.
I saw all the pictures. I really liked it. I really did. I like it when people that hate you and you.
Who hates me?
No. Okay, you want to start that list? Actually, it's a wrong list, but I like it when I see you doing regular, normal stuff because it reminds me of the 19 idiots that hate you on whatever social or whatever's going on. I'm like,
right.
Motherfucker, this is 25 years ago. Look, he's at Disney.
Yeah.
He's doing the bane of all our existence.
Sure.
Every dude's been stuck, whether it's holding your purse at the mall or we're in the shit line and we don't get the fast track at Disney.
It's not front of the line,
That's
Disney.
how it goes.
Right.
That's why he's really nice about this.
Absolutely.
And no one thinks he's a regular person, and I know he is because he calls me along. He's like, "You're not going to believe it." I'm like, "What's going to believe?" Oh, so somebody from your family said it was your birthday and you got to show up and be regular?
Yeah, a regular person. That's right.
You're not allowed to learn or grow.
That's right.
If you're in the public eye, like a lot of these assholes still think I'm the shock jock guy.
Oh yeah, you're stomping on cakes and shitting on homeless people's faces, and
whoa, hey, I never did that.
No,
I only did one of the two.
I'm shaving my pubes on a lady's face on 42nd Street. That never happened. Let's just make up stupid shit that never happened.
And last week he was on the Olaf ride, or whatever.
I did do a homeless poo mustache once, though.
Oh,
I'm curious.
Homeless poo mustache.
I don't like that. I'm nervous.
Why are you nervous?
Because of poo and homeless.
I mean, please continue. I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
We had one of our homeless friends would come in, and we learned that because he's homeless, he doesn't take a lot of showers, and he doesn't change his clothes a lot. So we were curious to see what was in his underwear. Oh. I don't know how it got to that point, but it did. And we had to cut his underwear off him.
Oh.
And in it were petrified rocks of poo. Petrified.
Oh, dear God.
Hard as just dropping something hard on this table.
Marble.
Rocks.
Like when it turns white, when it's pet poo.
Oh no, it was still the color.
Oh.
It was still the color, but it was like he had rocks in his underwear. And then we kind of like, when you find an Indian pot on the beach and you kind of put a little water on it to
rehydrate,
to bring it back to life a little bit.
Find the real colors.
So we did that to bring it back to life a little, and then I put it under my nose, and
Oh, you put it under your nose?
Yeah, why not?
You wore a petrified poo mustache on your nose? That's a good group of words.
That is petrified poo.
Petrified poo mustache.
That's right.
That'd be a great title for a special.
Oh,
that's right.
My God.
That's not bad, actually.
So, but
sometimes I think you're funny.
It's going to be one of these days. Hey, I got to jump in here for a second. I'm editing this episode on my couch, and I realized that I never did the homeless poo mustache. I mixed it up with the time I did the Rich Voss baby diaper mustache. The man who did the homeless petrified poo mustache from Tippy Tom's underwear was the great Pat Duffy, who did amazing things for the old radio show. And matter of fact, as I was researching this, I found the audio, so sit back and enjoy this. This is so funny and so gross. I think you're going to love it. Check out Pat Duffy here, and then we'll get back to the episode at Gebhards.
Oh, this is awful. If I get new underwear, I'll be happy. All right? All right. Oh! All right, get the other side. Yeah, Civil War was a good war. Well, I was happy there. How's he getting the underwear? Oh! All right. Put it on the table. Put it on the table. Oh! All right, open them up. Yeah, fuck with that. Best in there.
I think just open them up on the table. I think there's an ant in this.
I can't even explain what this looks like.
Oh, God.
Get in there and spread it open. We cut the underpants off. Oh my God!
All right, hold on. Don't move it. Oh my God, don't move it. Holy shit, you gotta be kidding me.
Really fucked up.
Hold on. Listen to this.
I can't win.
That was in his underpants.
Oh,
Listen.
Damn it.
Holy crap! It's like petrified.
I know there's fucking.
Go get me some water.
Oh no, soften it up.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Pat Duffy.
Nice.
This is Tippy Tom's underwear. This is Tippy Tom's underpants mustache.
So shit. I don't know. Clorox.
No way! Oh, fuck! Oh, shit!
Do it. Oh my God!
I can't win this guy.
Wow!
I can't.
Holy shit!
Wow, you all right, Pat?
I'm all right. Yeah.
That tops anything.
Fucking Duffy!
That tops anything I've seen anybody ever do, ever.
I can't believe you said I would have never done that.
Well, no, I mean, when you're
That's ballsy or boozy.
Well, when you're a shock jock and you're telling everyone else to do all the crazy shit and
You
you're
have to
getting
do
the
it too,
credit
right,
for
right.
it, every once in a while you got to do something to go, hey man, I'm willing to do some of this stuff too.
I ate the sheep's eyeball that day. We
Yes, you
all
did.
took a bite of the bull's penis.
Yes.
Even the magician. Remember we had a scary magician. He was terrified because he just thought he was coming in and do magic tricks. And like we were actually going to have to fucking suck a penis head and take a little chunk. The eyeball busted in my mouth when
and you taste the crunch of the lens, right? And
yes.
Then,
and then Stefano was going to vomit.
And then the squish of the juice of the eye juice.
But it didn't taste like anything. It was just water.
Right,
Like
right,
liquid.
Yeah, but it was.
But it looks super gross because it's calf eye juice.
Yeah.
It's super hacky. Show me the eyeball.
There you go.
Oh my God, dude, I'm gonna get sick.
All right.
There you go.
I'll do it. Here we go. I've never done this ever.
All right, Vic.
I'm charging you $3,000 for this.
I'd gladly pay it so I don't have to eat it.
So I'm going to invoice somebody. I'm invoicing somebody.
I hope you puke.
I'm not going to puke.
I hope you puke.
Oh!
Did you hear that?
What squirted out?
Fat. No, it's fine.
It's not. It's fine.
It's totally fine.
I know the longer I wait, the harder it gets,
Just
right? It's
eat
like
it.
jumping
Go
off.
ahead. I just did it. Chew it. You got to chew it up. It's fatty. It tastes like nothing. It tastes like nothing. It tastes like nothing.
Oh, did you see
I can't believe it. You thought about what it was. You started thinking about it. I kind of liked it, actually.
Did you see it just fall out of his
I
mouth?
know, but it tastes.
Dude, you're from the South. You'll eat a person with bacon on it.
My mother eats
Dude,
squirrel.
how the fuck did you eat that?
Because it's
Anyway, but with Florida, honestly, in the end, it was a good trip. But we had 7 kids under the age of 9, and then 8 adults. We had 15 in a house, and we were doing every day. We were at a different park.
I mean,
wow.
What, you wouldn't do that?
No.
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
Ever. I have a calculation of a risk to reward.
Yeah.
And once it gets into 80 mile an hour piled into this and 80 mile an hour piled into that,
Yeah.
I need a higher batting average. Or I ain't doing it.
But what if your girl said, we're going to Disney with a whole bunch of us?
No, I know.
Then you would be doing it, right?
That's why I'm single.
All right.
Well, I'm with Nikki, but
Yeah.
no, it's the same thing. Sometimes she cons me into some of this stuff, and I'm like, I'm just not. I didn't grow up doing this. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to be mad, and then I don't want to be. I'd rather just Vic's at the hotel watching Auburn, rather than Vic yanked somebody out of the roller coaster and slapped the snow cone guy.
Well, I mean, it was hectic, but it was also, we
I like it.
We made some really good memories, but but it was problematic at times. So the first day we went to the Magic Kingdom, and that was wonderful, and had the start of the vacation was awesome. Second day, we're going to Hollywood Studios. Everyone is ordering the Ubers because now we're taking Ubers to the park. And I feel a little something in my lower back. And as you know by now, I have a really bad lower back.
I believe your wife says it's made out of, what is it, kids glue and Scotch tissue.
Well, she says graham crackers and glue.
Okay.
She calls me
got a bad back.
She calls me old crumple spine.
He really does have a bad back.
She calls me old crumple spine. And she also says when my back goes, it's like I have legs of Muppets.
Oh,
you ever see the Muppets?
That's 5 good jokes.
Sure.
And every once in a while,
I love Lynn's.
Every once in a while, they'll show the angle where
no,
you
they're
can
dangling.
see
You can see them just they didn't hook up the cord. The legs don't work.
Right. And pretty much the legs are dead. That's what happens to me for real.
Freely dangling. Yeah.
So I'm having a slight little tinge in my lower back after the first day at the park, and I'm like, I can't ruin this big vacation. We've been planning this for a while. So I go back to my room as people are waiting for Ubers on the stoop of the house, the frozen house. And I do this one move, right? And it pulls out my back worse than it's ever been pulled out in my life.
So you're double over, or?
Yeah. It's called a vertical shift. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
A vertical
It sounds descriptive.
A vertical shift is basically if you're looking at someone and it looks like they're leaning up against a wall, but there's no wall in sight. So your spine is on a complete angle. And one shoulder is way lower than the other. The other shoulder's way up in the air because now your spine is going on a complete angle. It's almost like you got your hip out, like, hey.
Okay. All right.
Hey, boys.
Queen Latifah, UNITY. So, all the way back.
So I do this move to take care of the little tinge.
Racism. Wrote a song about it.
And it also, when it pulls out my back, I limp out to the stoop because I'm like, no, don't ruin this fucking vacation. I got 2 small kids, my wife, it's my wife's family, my in-laws and all that. I start panicking, and then I go, you know what? If I stay on my tippy toe on my right foot, I think I'll be all right for the day. This is what I'm saying to myself.
Oh, my God,
and I'm panicking.
miserable, dude.
And
Jesus.
then it gets worse.
God.
Then it gets worse, and I pretty much fall to the ground in front of everybody. The other 14 people I'm with, and my little kids. And all of a sudden, they have to help me back in the room.
What's wrong with Dad?
Opie down.
I can't even stand anymore. Can't even stand.
Did the kids ask you anything?
Huh?
Did they say anything? Did they?
No.
Because everybody's just running. But they didn't run like, "Are you okay?"
No, of course they did.
That's what I meant, right?
Yeah, they were
there's
concerned.
some sort of, other than Lindsay going, "Dad's crippled."
Yeah, no, my wife was really concerned. I'm like, look, we've been through this many times. Just get me back in the room, and just get me on the floor. And then on the floor, I couldn't get up anymore. And she goes, let me call an ambulance. I'm like, we are in Disney. You're going to Hollywood Studios, and I'll figure this shit out. I want you to go.
Classic Dad.
Nice.
What do you think I was going to do?
I don't
That was
know.
impressive.
Sometimes you're weak and unsuccessful.
What do you think I was going to do?
No, I knew you were going to absolutely. No, that's great though. This is why I like him, because I'm one of the few people. I'll give him tons of shit, and he's like, he's an asshole. I'm like, no, he's not.
Yeah, right.
No. Per example, this story.
There you go.
Sorry, back to you.
And then my wife's like, well, my parents will take the kids. I'll stay with you. We'll try to figure it out. We'll get an ambulance. We'll go to urgent care. We'll go to a chiropractor. I'm like, no, you go. And now this is the part I have to admit to be a full human here. They leave, they get in their Ubers, and they take off. I could hear, I can't even watch because I'm on the floor. I hear the cars go away, and now I'm all alone in the frozen house. I break down and start crying.
Oh.
I have to because I'm a full human being these
You had to
days.
let it go.
Beautiful, dude. That's right. Let it go.
Sorry,
there
you know
go.
I'm going to take it.
Nice,
you know I'm
nice.
going to take
I like that. I like that.
If you're leaving it open, I'm taking it.
Take all shots. So I have a good cry because I know when my back does this, the vertical shift, which I only learned, and I'll explain to you how I learned that in a second. But when it happens like that, I'm done for a month. So now I'm on the floor. They left, and I'm thinking to myself, I just ruined our family vacation because now this is going to be incredibly problematic, right? So it took me 15 minutes to get off the floor, back into the bed where I could get some comfort. And then I'm laying there, and I know I got all day because they had a long day planned at Hollywood Studios. I'm thinking to myself, don't feel sorry for yourself. Do what you can to figure this out, right? So I grab my laptop and I start looking up urgent cares and chiropractors. But then I quickly realized that I can't walk or drive a car. So I can, even if I found an urgent care, it's impossible. The pain is so bad, it's impossible to stand and especially drive. And walking, forget it. So I'm like, fuck, what else can I do? So I started looking up how-to videos on YouTube. And I figured out what I had with the videos. I'm like, okay, I got a crooked spine, so I put crooked spine in YouTube, blah, 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 blah. And long story short, I found out I had this vertical shift. So I'm like, okay, how do you fix a vertical shift? Yes. So all of a sudden I found some videos, and there's a move where you go up against the, you know how it looks like you're leaning up against the wall?
I got it.
Now you take that position. So now you put your arm on the wall, so now you are leaning, and then it's excruciating pain, but then you have to somehow push your left hip, in my case, as far to the wall as possible as you're on that angle. And you have to do this over and over again. So I started doing it because I'm like, I got to try something.
It's those Dak Prescott hip exercises.
That's right.
Have you seen the Dak Prescott hip exercises?
No, what's that?
No, it's what you're talking about.
Oh, really?
He has a special drill. Like he's, I guess, right, Judd?
That's right, it is.
I think he's the only dude in the NFL who does these weird.
Okay.
It's like he
hip
drops
shifty.
back. He'll drop back and then shift his hip as if he's
For laughter of a
rotating
bigger
his hips.
turn,
Oh, okay.
He'll just pop his hip.
Well, this
out.
is more, you're leaning.
I got you. All right,
with
go
your
ahead.
right elbow, your left hip is way out from the wall, your feet are way out from the wall, and then you push as far as you can to the wall. You're basically trying to straighten your own spine. I start screaming bloody murder. It hurts so much.
Because you did it right, probably.
No, but I'm like, but I gotta try.
No, you had to, right.
So it's like it's like sets of 10 every hour. I was doing sets of 15 every 2 minutes because I'm panicking now.
Excessive.
I'm like, I gotta.
Excessive.
But I gotta figure this out.
I'm still in pain. I need more oxy. It's never a good thought.
And then the first
never a good thought.
The first hour was a lot of pain, but all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute, it's slightly better. So I kept going, and then I started believing in myself, and I kept doing it, and then I started watching other videos online, how to fix your back videos. And one, I'm not going to lie to you, it was a bit homoerotic, and I didn't realize that.
Is it more homo or erotic?
It was.
That's the standard. Sorry, that's a hack. That's a hack.
It was.
It's a hack joke. I always have. Anytime someone says homoerotic, I'm required under Articles of Confederation Comedy 147, paragraph 2. I have to say, was it more homo or erotic?
Well, I'll tell you this. It took me 20 minutes to figure out it was homoerotic. No, it was this chiropractor, and he was adjusting. He was adjusting this guy that was probably in his mid-20s, and the chiropractor was about 60 to 65, and he's on one of those tables where they push down. Have you guys ever done this?
Oh, yeah.
And every time he pushed down, the 25-year-old would be like, ugh! And I'm like, okay, I guess that's a noise you would do if you're getting your back adjusted, but over and over, and I'm like, it finally hit me that, because on YouTube they try to get away with things, like under the guise that this is helping your back. It's obviously a video to hopefully, turn some dudes on, I guess. So I had to move on from that video. Long story short, I got my back to...
I was going to say, there's an ending to this.
I got my back to a point where I fixed myself. Ended up going shopping at Target for the household, grocery shopping. And then everyone came home after being gone all day, and they were so confused, especially my wife, because she understands, how bad. Especially when I showed her the angle, she's like, fuck, we're fucked for a month. I'm like, Lindsay, I think I fixed my own back while you were away watching YouTube videos. But with that said, it kept going back. So I had to do this move for the next 5 or 6 days as I was walking around the park. I could walk for 10 minutes and then feel the pain, find a wall, do it, and I was able to able to get through the vacation.
I like it.
Yeah. So
I got a corner. There's a closet door in my house every now and then that I have to get in there, like the bare necessities. it's kind of what you're saying. Part of it is the massage angle, and part of it's kind of the itchy, scratchy, feel good angle. But every time I do it, I'm like, oh man! I wake up the next day, I feel 1,000,000% better.
It's called a vertical shift, and then you have to do the vertical glide to hopefully get it back. That's
a skateboard movie with Tony Hawk in the 80s. That's
right.
Vertical glide.
It made some of the rides very problematic though, because I was on some of these rides where I was holding on for dear life because But although the safari at Animal Kingdom, I think finally put my back in place because of the bumps.
But I still can't. Do you think it's weird that the animals are out there and that weird? I mean, I like all the other theme park stuff, but we're going to put a rhinoceros in New Jersey always throws me. That's one. I mean, that's the only one.
Yeah, but that rhinoceros is saying thank you.
Yeah,
because they had
got a pretty good life.
They had 3 white rhinos. They're taken care of, and they know there's no risk of them being killed for their stupid horns. So some
Chinese man can get a hard on.
I was going to be careful. You went for it. Yes.
Right. Asian.
Yeah. And the safari people that
dried tiger penis.
Yeah.
Chewy.
It's fucking so weird.
Well, they take the white rhino's horn and they grind it down, and people actually believe all over the world that this will make you hard. Well, we have the drugs that will make you hard.
Just go get that. Yeah, leave the goddamn rhino alone.
Jenny McCarthy believes that that vaccinations don't work.
Oh, that's true.
There's plenty of stupid shit.
So we got stupid people all over the place, and then the guy during the safari is like, look, the horn on the white rhino is made out of the same exact material.
It's your fingernails.
Exactly.
It's
the exact
same thing.
And they're killing. I think the white rhinos are down to like less than 5,000 in the entire world.
Do you remember the old Wild Kingdoms where, the hackiest joke that ever comic did forever was Marlon Perkins, the 80-year-old guy, would be up in the tree and he would put Jim Fowler in the fucking,
in danger
in the Amazon wrestling an anaconda.
Yeah.
And I brought one of the greatest trips when I was a kid, and we went out to the San Diego Zoo. And they had one of those first wild animal parks, but it was in Escondido, California. So it was 12,000 acres. So it wasn't like riding around Jersey and seeing the mean one that's connected to Six Flags, wherever you were. Yeah. This was a full-on 3 trams and the greatest. And guess who? Jim was our narrator.
No. Oh, my God.
Jim Fowler.
Wow.
My aunt, I was probably 10 and didn't know what a boner meant. But I know it's goddamn Jim from Wild Kingdom who was wrestling me. And my aunt's just trying to be spoiling me and giving me a great vacation and everything. And she's like, well, I think we should do this sideline trip. And we run around, they got them in their natural habitat and everything. And then the minute he goes, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jim Fowler. And I'm like, oh! Oh, shit. Well, then now the other one that goes with this, and that's just kind of a cute one. The funny mean one is Jack Hanna, Jungle Jack.
Of course.
Columbus, Ohio. So every time he would go to Columbus, Ohio to work the Funny Bone, he was a big comedy fan. So frequently you catch wind, hey, Jack's coming out. And if Jack offers you the backstage tour at the zoo, take it because it's amazing, but get ready because whenever you see the lions, he's going to pull a trick on you. And he had this thing where it looks like they're feeding the lions and we have the total glass barrier in front of us and nothing bad's going to happen. And then Jack Hanna would do something like, well, actually, I can lower the barrier because I've been feeding these animals since they're babies, and they're totally normal to me. They're used to human contact. And Jack Hanna would lower the barrier, and every goddamn lion would run straight to the barrier, stomping, because he's throwing raw meat. It's feeding time.
Yeah.
But we don't know this. He said, oh, you can pet them. And then he raises the glass and throws the meat in, and they come running in. Then he'd raise the glass back up. Right when they jump to leap for our throats, he'd raise the back of the glass back up and go, hey, hello, comedy. He's from Tennessee, redneck motherfucker.
Oh, my God.
He's like,
wasn't that funny?
What a sick
when they were leaping at your face for the meat, he would raise the moon roof back up.
He had confidence.
No, he knew he'd done the joke for fucking 30 years. Everybody's
he had
like,
the confidence that he had it figured out to the second.
But it was but if you went to the bone, in Columbus, you're like, if Jack takes you on the tour, don't get scared by the lions.
By the lion trick he's going to pull.
He's lunging at your throats.
That's amazing. Yeah. And then the other thing about Disney, with 2 days left in the trip, the kids started breaking down and getting sick. And the day we had to fly back.
Like strep and sickness, fever, snot.
Well, it turns out it was strep, flu, and walking pneumonia.
It's always strep.
And walking pneumonia. Yeah, but when we were flying down to Florida, the guy sitting behind me, my wife told me after the fact, I heard at the end of the flight, the stewardess go to the guy behind me, are you feeling any better? I'm like, fuck, there you go.
Jesus.
There you go.
That's it.
And
patient zero.
And when they start recycling, well, you guys fly a lot. When they start recycling that air, that's when people get sick.
No, it
Why?
just pumps right. You're just pumping the snot back through the hole because you never cleared the cabin.
Right.
You never aired it. You didn't.
Yeah.
You can't open the window. Mitt Romney's wife. If you remember that one.
Yes.
One of my greatest political stupid things of ever.
Explain that one.
Mitt Romney when he was running. His wife asked him, because they're flying around on all these private jets, and Mitt Romney's wife actually, with a pure thought in her brain, went, well, how come we can't roll the windows down in the airplane just like we can in the car?
It's cracking.
I'm like, have you never seen a James Bond movie? Do you not remember? It's called depressurization.
Yeah.
You can be the size of a forearm and weigh 180 pounds. You're
You'll go
sucked out of
straight
fucking
out the
household.
fucking, yeah, right. You're going.
Oh, every once in a while we lose one.
We lost one not too long ago. A couple weeks ago, somebody.
A couple weeks ago.
No, something happened. Yeah, there was one that somebody just got sucked out a couple weeks ago.
I think that's a while ago now.
Well, I mean, I smoke a lot of pot.
Yeah, all right. So, as we're landing, though, my left nostril started getting ticklish, and I had horrible...
I'll leave that joke alone.
Really? What's the joke there?
Your left nostril is starting to get ticklish?
Yeah.
It's all those videos you watched.
Never mind.
You got all excited.
I don't know. I was going with dick in the nose.
Whoa, hey!
Rare fetish. I was going with the rare.
There were no Asians on that. Just go with it.
No, it worked.
I just want to go with the Asian thing.
You should. It's small.
That
That would fit in the nose. That
We're
would
going to end up with Jay Leno in a second, so I figure we'll continue the lead up with some Asian humor that some Asian groups get really mad at. But anyway, so I land and I'm in a full allergy attack, I think. All right, I took care of that. But anyway, so the day we have to fly back to New York, my son, who is a trooper, way tougher than his dad, when he gets sick, you barely know. He just sucks it up. Like, I've never seen a kid suck it up.
Nice.
And we even tell him, like,
So he just chills and reads and hangs out, or does?
I know he's
he
miserable,
doesn't
but
want mommy, but give me something. Other than that, he's fine.
He's miserable, but he doesn't whine about it. And he just
that's a
sucks
good boy.
it up. Like, he'll wake up in the middle of the night. I remember when he was really small. He's now 9. When he was 5, let's say 6, he would walk to himself to the bathroom and just puke by himself. Most kids would wake.
Oh, he didn't even mommy.
No.
Excuse me, I burped. He didn't even.
Didn't need mom to come around or anything.
That's a champ.
He's a tough kid.
Wow.
So he wakes.
Well, that shows you also how much attention you've paid to him. He has to feel like he has to do all this on his own.
He doesn't feel like he has anyone to talk to.
No, there's no one there in the house that he can count on. I might as well do it. Come on. I'll get a flashlight
by myself.
up. Find me a Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
I've been more present since I got rid of that radio show.
Oh, I agree with that.
I know, but
We're teasing Huddy.
But he's a tough kid, and he wakes up the day we're flying home, and he is not moving. He's sleeping. He never sleeps in.
Oh.
He's like me. He likes getting up real early.
So when
my daughter likes sleeping in. He likes to get up really early. So he's laying around, and he's lethargic, and he's tired, and we're like, oh, God, he's sick. So we have to get out of the house and get to the airport, and we get to the airport, and now we're in line at security. Right. First of all, he's puking in the car. I should say that the rental. To the point where, like, you don't even have to have a seatbelt on. We let him lay between seats because we just want him comfortable because he couldn't sit without starting to puke from one of those sicknesses.
Man.
So we get to the airport, and now I feel a little guilty. We're in the security line, and he's got a Target bag, and he's puking, and we're
holding a Target bag.
Puking.
He's holding.
Yes. As we're rubbing his back at this point.
Going through security.
And there was a delay.
Man.
We were standing there for an hour.
This is adorable and uncomfortable at the same time.
Yeah,
and not in a bad way.
We were standing for an hour, and he's as sick as a kid could be. And now the dilemma is, we want to get home. Do we tell anybody? Because if I'm on a plane and someone's sick, I'd be pissed that they're flying, right?
It depends on how.
I had to get home.
Right. That's where I was going.
That's it.
That's
You
where I
gotta
was
get home.
going. That's
You
where I
gotta
was
get home.
going.
But that's where we're all hypocrites, because if there's another family with this same thing,
oh, then you go, what the fuck are these
you'd be
people?
screaming
that's
bloody
it.
murder,
That's
like,
it.
don't you have any respect for anyone else? But then if it happens to you or your family, then of course you're gonna do exactly what that other family did.
Yeah,
right?
if you're in line at security and the family in front of you you don't know, and one of their kids is puking in a Target bag, what are you doing then?
I'm going to hope it's not contagious.
I hope it's not contagious.
That'd be it. I literally would go Mr. Lieber 50-50. I'm like, I hope he's got food poisoning. And this has got nothing to do with I'm going to be snotting and shitting 2 days later. That would be my comment.
We made sure he wasn't rubbing his hands on anything, and
except for the flight attendant.
And then when we got. And then when we got on the plane,
doing a dick joke.
Yeah, there you go. We
I was doing a dick joke.
We did what we could.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
You know, so but.
Well, no, you're a good dad again, which goes back to
kid.
the original point of no one thinks that you're capable of this really nice thought process where you work through this and considered other people.
Me on a radio show and think that's how I am in real life.
No, you later, you know, if every joke I wrote for the first 10 years of comedy presented me as a certain way, then none of the jokes ever would work after that.
Yeah.
Not that I've ever written a joke. I'll self-deprecate myself.
So we get home. My son has flu type A, which is the bad one. My daughter had strep throat, which then turned into, because she wasn't getting better, she has walking pneumonia. I have the flu. I'm at the end of it. And my wife, I don't know what she has.
Getting ready to run the New York City Marathon.
Yeah, no, she's
a champ.
She's tough too.
She's a fucking champ.
Oh, by the way, you know
she's Philly tough. No, she's Philly tough.
Yeah, they laugh at germs. Judd, remember I was saying how my son is tough?
Yes.
Maybe I didn't have to say this, but I'm going to. He gets it from my wife, not me.
Fair enough.
She's tough, but she's got probably the flu too, but she just handles it. Handles it better, whatever.
Oh, man.
But that was more or less my Disney trip, except for one more quick story.
Please.
So the back's starting to get better. We're in the jacuzzi, finally relaxing after a couple of really hectic days in the parks. Good times, but hectic, you know.
I saw, you're right.
And all of a sudden, my brother-in-law in the jacuzzi, he feels something squishy in the jacuzzi.
With his hand or his foot?
His big toe.
Okay. Legitimate question.
And let's just say one of the kids, I am not going to call out the kid, decided to let a nugget go in the jacuzzi.
But it sunk to the bottom. So what does that mean? A lot of fiber with the kid, or it?
To the bottom.
I don't know. Density.
Yeah, right.
And
oh my God!
We were all too scared to tell my father-in-law because he's a big blue-collar guy, and he needs maybe things not to be germy. Let's just say.
Okay. Well said. Very well said.
Okay.
Very well said.
So we decided the course of action was to squish it down the drain.
Stomp it out. Stomp it through the drain.
My brother-in-law stomped it out with his big toe and got it, and hustled it down the drain by squishing it through.
I like it.
Wait a minute, you're in a hot tub?
Yeah, and then
so much like the plane recirculating the air, it was just shit particles shooting out of the jets in the hot tub after that.
We never changed the water, and we continued using the jacuzzi.
But he stomped it down the drain.
Oh.
He mushed it. You got to mush that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if you got it in your toe, just drop it out like a walnut, you know? Oh,
good Lord.
Man.
And besides, and the rest of Disney was Disney for the people that... Have you ever been to Disney?
I've been to Disneyland when I was a kid, not Disney World.
California or Florida?
California.
The real one?
Yeah, we went to the original.
Any memories?
We had a Chevy Good Times van.
Like Scooby-Doo?
That was nice.
Scooby-Doo,
That's right. It was brown and blue, and had captain's chairs all over, and a TV in the back. It was very nice. I even drove that shit in college for a while. I had the van in college.
At Texas A&M.
Got pulled over all the time.
Of course.
Constantly.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, you remember my buddy Clay?
Yes.
Who was my roommate?
Who works for Buc-ee's.
Oh, really?
Buc-ee's is the Walmart size,
Clay,
I've heard
that's his buddy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our claim to fame is I know the president of Piggly Wiggly, and he knows the president of Buc-ee's. So we can get all the Piggly Wiggly Buc-ee's
Beaver
swag
nuggets you want.
You want a T-shirt? Let's go.
But Clay was always real paranoid around cops, and since my dad was a judge and I was around law enforcement people, I kind of knew how to deal with them. And we got pulled over multiple times in the van for whatever reason. And I rolled a stop sign. We were going back to the house we lived in college, and we got lit up. We weren't drunk, no weed on us, nothing, And so Clay's just tightens up. He's just worried as can be. And I'm like looking forward to dealing with the cops. Cop comes over. Where are y'all coming from? Oh, this side. We're up here. Are you drinking? No, not drinking. Whatever. And I remember I said something smart ass, and the cop goes, he asked me if I had any drugs or guns in the car, and I go, what do you need? And he goes, out of the van.
Texas.
Get out of the van.
Texas.
And so Clay's looking at me like, fuck, dude. Like, but we don't have anything in there. And then, so that was it. There was nothing in the car.
But your dad was a judge.
He was a judge.
And then didn't Woody Harrelson dad try to kill his dad or something? There's just an interesting.
Well, Willie Harrelson's dad.
There was a.
I said Willie. Sorry, Woody.
Right.
Woody Harrelson's dad killed JFK. We all know that.
But he had a restraining. There was a time.
My dad was. He was.
Wait, he knows Woody Harrelson's dad?
Fortunately, no.
Because if he had him, his dad is dead.
Right.
Because Woody Harrelson's dad, I think
he knows this,
is doing life in prison.
Yes,
he was dead already. He's dead.
But
he died in prison.
But this call, they had state troopers in front of his house.
And then the rumor is that Woody Harrelson's dad had something to do with JFK's assassination, just to fill in some of the blanks.
That was one of the rumors as one of the 3 hobos.
Right.
That they, what do they say, or what did Trump say, that Ted Cruz's father was one of the hobos or some shit?
Right.
But there was like legitimate possibility that Charles Harrelson.
This is a good story, though.
Can I get a shiner?
Yeah.
You want to say something on the podcast, Matt?
Matt Gebhards here, owner of Gebhards.
Hello, everybody.
Where we only know one goddamn thing for life. Never put cinnamon in the coffee maker. It's a shitty, gross idea. It's horrible. I don't care if it's Christmas right now and cinnamon and nutmeg might be prevalent, but our man, Matt, that owns Geb, we have T-shirts. I will send you a free T-shirt that says, never put cinnamon in the coffee maker.
Never to try it, even at home.
Fucking gross.
What happened to you that you...
Well, I was going to the bathroom.
No, I mean with him.
No, I don't know what
about it.
I think he started... Well, sorry to interrupt, Matt.
Important. Coffee's important. We've got, we got a shared coffee maker here for the whole staff, and some wise ass thinks it's a good idea to dump cinnamon inside the filter with the coffee.
In the cone.
Are you fucking kidding me? It's a group thing, right? So everybody gets to enjoy the coffee.
It was one of our first days here.
So we made the sign that said, "Do not put cinnamon in the coffee maker.
You're a dick.
That's fucking gross."
You're
and we
a dick.
posted it, and then that's the only thing.
Then we came back 4 weeks later, and there were fucking T-shirts just sitting on the back. Because I think I told him, I'm like, because I saw the sign. I was going to the bathroom, and I saw right by the coffee machines. I'm like, don't do this. You're a fucking dick. Everything he just said. I'm like, if that ain't a goddamn T-shirt, I'll print them up. I go, I'll print them up right now.
Right away.
And then about 2 weeks later, he fucking sent me one. I still have it in my drawer.
And you shouldn't put...
And people go, what does that mean? I'm like, go to Gebhards, 72nd Broadway. I go to 72nd Broadway.
You don't put cinnamon and sugar on the rim of a pumpkin ale, right? You don't do that shit either, right? Okay, good. Another place where cinnamon doesn't belong. I like a good pumpkin ale this time of year.
I don't.
You don't like the pumpkin ale?
I don't like any of the Honey Nut Cheerios Tic Tac pumpkin ale. No. But I want hunts of Ned Muggin and star anise, and then maybe Patrice jacked off and we got the sweat off his balls on the rim. It's just, once you get too fucking obscure with your reference.
I understand that, but the trend has become with the pumpkin ale is you put the cinnamon sugar on the rim. And the women just gobble it up. No, women don't drink pumpkin ale, right, Matt?
They do. I mean, women drink the same thing all the guys.
They do if your name is Linus.
What about the thems? Do they drink the pumpkin ale?
The whom's?
The thems.
Who's the thems?
They, them. Are you not progressive?
I'm not there yet.
No, he's doing a joke that didn't work earlier, which is what we do on this show.
I'm not there.
We spend our entire time working on things that never work.
I'm not there yet either, and I think it's okay to say that. And I'll say it again, as long as you don't have the hate in your heart. I need to call you something.
Be privy to everything. You can't know what everybody wants to hear anyway, you know?
Right.
Until you do, you don't know. So.
Yeah. There are people that want to be called what? Theys and thems?
They, them. That's right.
That's tonight. He's got tonight. He's going down to introduce the show in a couple hours. And on the lineup, the girl's name was there. And it's like, Wendy Johnson.
Well, we don't know.
Well, I made it up. I faked
Wendy,
it.
right.
But it says her name.
Right.
And then it says in parentheses next to it, but you have to introduce her as they or them. And I'm like, I don't even know what that means.
I'm not even sure what to do, to be honest with you. Please welcome to the stage them.
They or them, apparently.
Yeah, I guess,
last week at the strip, the guy's name was...
Don't say that.
African dude.
Right, don't do that.
That did they or them. Last week at the strip, the guy was NYA. And so I'm like, Naya? And he's like, no, it's Nya.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And I went, I screamed that for an hour.
Good for you.
By the end of before I introduced him, he changed it to, I'm Doug.
That's Matt from Gebhards. He's awesome.
No, that mother. What the fuck?
All right, let's get back to the story. So I didn't forget.
Sorry.
Woody Harrelson, JFK, the grassy knoll.
Right.
One of the hobos, all that stuff. Go ahead.
My part or perspective of that is I had a recurring nightmare when I was a kid of sitting at the dining room table with my mom and sister and dad. Somebody knocks on the door. The door opens. I look, and a gun comes up and shoots my dad. I had that for like most of my childhood.
He's a federal judge.
And then as I get older, I find out, well, when he was assistant district attorney in our town, he tried a case against this guy, rich kid, families in oil and gas, just a complete shithead. It was in some love triangle, and he wound up killing the other dude, right? And so the case went, to court and all that. Well, he was well connected with all sorts of people in Texas and in the Southwest. And honestly, there's so much interesting stuff in that it's almost as comparable to like a Goodfellas type of thing, how it goes back. Way better than The Irishman. But like it's
way better.
I mean,
Mississippi Mafia. There's a Dixie Mafia. There's a who. There's a whole loose lit.
It goes back to like the 50s.
No, read Mississippi Mud. It's great.
Yeah, but
there's a thing called the Dixie Mafia, which is not a La Cosa Nostra, but it was yet a little loose, knit group of murderers that they could find.
Thanks, brother.
Geez, all right.
But
I love Shiner.
Shiner, yeah.
Oh, Shiner. Very
nice. Let me go get another Shiner.
Oh, very nice.
Here, tell the story, Judd.
All right, so I find out, as I got older, I find out what the whole story was. When I was probably 5 years old, my dad was assistant district attorney. He was trying this case against this guy. And you never had Shiner Bach?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. It's from right near my hometown.
No, it's a different...
He's picky.
No, I'm not. It was good. It just tasted different because it's a different...
whiner. On your beard. You are a fucking whiner.
What did I do to you?
Shiner Bach. That's a good
That's
beer.
yours.
Perfect.
All right, here. You have that one.
Okay, I'll take that one.
No,
Since
I
they're
like-
different.
No, the Shiner has many different... they have a variety of stuff.
Yeah, but that's a regular Shiner.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so anyway...
For the record, I like my Shiner here at
Shiner
Gebhards.
is a good one.
Thank you, Matt. I'm appreciative.
Okay.
I feel like my back's against the wall.
Never. Never.
Go ahead.
All right, so I'm I'm 5 years old at the time, and so my dad's trying this case against this guy and somebody else for killing this other guy. Well, that guy Robinson was real tied into all sorts of people, and he put a hit out on my dad and the other assistant district attorney. So what I remember as a 5-year-old is all these adults came to our house, and they all had guns, and they were all hanging around and all this. And then the other assistant district attorney found out from the FBI that there was a hit on both of them before my dad did, and he didn't even tell my dad, and he booked it out of town.
Oh my God!
And when Dad told me that when I was older, I got so pissed off about that, just because that guy was like a family friend and shit, but he just took off. But anyway, and he's dead now, so it's fine.
Always good answer.
Anyway, yeah, cancer got him. Anyway, so.
Wow, he didn't give your dad the heads up?
Didn't even give the heads up until the FBI contacted my dad. And then
outside the house.
And then the other guy had already been long gone, took his family out of town. Well, so, I don't know this obviously when I'm a kid, but all these adults are around and all this. And I found out later on that one of my dad's good friends, who was a private investigator, former bodybuilder, all this, as he got older, he became the fat guy in overalls who's had like a crazy good life. He was a marksman in the military. He sat on the museum that was across the street from our house for 3 days with a rifle trained on our door in case anybody showed up. Right? And so, okay, there's a hit out on my dad, whatever. So the hitman killed a federal judge. It was the first sitting federal judge to get killed, Judge John Wood, in San Antonio. He was leaving in the morning to go to court. He was with his wife on the front porch, and somebody shoots him and kills him on the porch. Killed him because he was known as Maximum John. He gave the highest, we gave the biggest sentences to drug cases, and a lot of them were from El Paso. It was like San Antonio, Western District, El Paso. So they hated that guy. They hired a hitman to kill that judge because one of their family members was going in front of that judge soon, as if it mattered whether the judge was there or not. Killed that federal judge. The same guy got the contract to kill my dad and this other assistant district attorney. Well, the guy was, coked out, a degenerate gambler, all this. He's in a red Corvette coming out of Houston, going down to our hometown to kill my dad and the other guy. Coked out, blows past our town, and he was wanted for that murder of the federal judge and gets pulled over speeding in a town outside of ours.
The next town.
Next town over, gets arrested and sent to jail, and that was Charles Harrelson, Woody Harrelson's father. So, needless to say, we didn't watch a lot of Cheers when I was growing up. We didn't watch a lot of that. And I've always wanted to, and Charles,
they were
Woody,
estranged, I think.
Well,
he's
they were,
maybe.
but Woody Harrelson, from what I saw, defended his father and thought he was innocent even up until he died. And I just hope to God someday, and not in a dick kind of way, but how cool would it be if I see Woody Harrelson somewhere and be like, hey, Woody, your dad was contracted to kill
my dad.
I would just love the opportunity to say that.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the thing.
That is another great story.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Charles Harrelson.
And all these people you just talked about, they're all dead, right? Hopefully.
Woody's Charles Harrison's dead. My dad's still around, and dad referred, and my dad.
How do you get past the fact that there was a hit out on your dad?
And there's a sniper on your roof.
Yeah, when does life kind of go back to normal, where you just assume it's going to be okay? Because I guess in the back of your mind, you never know if it's ever going to be okay.
Well,
especially in such a small town.
Small town. I was
in a big city. That's standard operating procedure.
I was 5 years old at the time, so I only remember a bunch of people being in our house, and as I got older, then I heard the story and all this. But that was like an isolated thing, and they got the guy, and it was done and all that. But my dad, who became county judge, and he was an attorney till he just retired recently, when he talks about those times, he refers to those as the fun times. Like that was like when crazy shit was going on.
It was exciting.
Yeah, it was exciting.
That's insane.
But it was just the weirdest. And there's so many, and like the JFK thing. I mean, Charles Harrelson was a degenerate gambler marksman, though. Like the guy could shoot. Obviously, that
where did he get his skills from? Was he?
I think he was in the military.
Okay, that's what
I don't know for sure, but people have commented. I've read different stories about this. People have commented how much of a marksman he was, but he was a cokehead, degenerate gambler, all this, And then his wife, and I don't know for sure if it was Woody Harrelson's mom, maybe not, but his wife at the time, she got convicted of supplying the gun that killed that federal judge. But he was the first sitting federal judge to ever be assassinated, and that was Charles Harrelson. And literally, days later, had the contract on my dad.
Man, if I was a federal judge, I would be like, you're all doing a great job. You're doing a great job.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Your Honor, Your Honor, Your Honor. Nothing but Your Honor.
But your sentence is picking up litter next Saturday outside the high school.
But there's parts of Texas history that you'll never hear. That it's just like it's like Goodfellas type stuff, man. I mean, it's just it's so interesting.
Well, the Dixie Mafia stuff, I was telling Mississippi Mud is a great book, and I'm from Alabama. It's about Mississippi, but these guys were running it's been done on Dateline and OWN and whatever. Yeah. It should be a movie, but these convicts were orchestrating this stealing money from rich people out of the prison on a telemarketing scam.
Wow.
They'd call these adult businessmen and get them lured in on their sexual fantasies. And it's because it's on a prison line, they don't know it's convicts. And so it's kind of the equivalent of like catfishing. They're ghosting them, and they're like, send me money, and maybe when we get out one day, we'll get married. And they're writing all this stuff, but it's a really good book. Because Colin told me many years ago, he goes, have you read Mississippi Mud? And I'm like, fuck, I love Mississippi Mud. He goes, is the Dixie Mafia real? I'm like, the mayor of my hometown kind of admitted 30, 40 years ago that, yes, it ain't La Cosa Nostra.
Right.
But there's a hillbilly train on if you want to call a hitman or somebody to do something ugly, that there was a little bit of a down low, pay this guy off, and meet him in a truck stop in Biloxi.
Right. And there was probably connections with that to people in Chicago And
it was
New
a loose
York,
knit. It was a whole
just
key.
like in Texas. Just like in Texas, especially politically.
Which would make sense. That's why it's the Dixie Mafia. They ain't got no goddamn organization, or they'd won the war.
Right.
Did they make a documentary out of that?
There's been. I've seen Datelines in 2020.
I hate Dateline. I get up early.
Oh,
on the
I
weekends,
love it.
And instead of cable news being on, it's like, and the killer was in the house.
I like watching murder.
And the killer was
I
in the
love
house.
murder. I love
Oh
watching
yeah, what do you like?
Any of it. I don't even
No,
care.
what was on the last time I was there? Lifetime, not Lifetime. What the hell? Law and Order.
Oh, I'm always watching Law and Order because between SVU and CSI and all the variations of Law and Order, there's a million episodes that I haven't seen. So being on the road a million years, I love what I'm like. Come on, Belzer, let's get out here and nail their ass to the wall.
What do you got for us?
It's like 8:30 in the morning. You know, and I'm, come on, Elliot Spencer.
Right. Da da da. To be continued. Sorry, but the people around me, they're like, oh, I'm telling you. The episode should be shorter. People's attention spans. They don't want to listen to hour and a half, 2 hour episodes. And I'm like, I don't know about that because the numbers are good and the feedback is good on this podcast. But anyway, on the next episode of the Opie Radio podcast, we'll be back at Gebhards with Vic Henley, the baby pigeon killer, and his neighbor Judd. Plenty of other stories to get to. But right now, to finish up this episode, I want to give the Pod Squad some space on this podcast. So Butters is collecting audio like the old FU line that we used to have where you could call up and say whatever the hell you want, but we're doing it through Google Drive. There's a link to the Facebook group, by the way, in the description of this episode.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Creamy Butters here. Let's check in with the Opie Radio Podcast Facebook page. What do you got, Pod Squad?
Hey, guys. Sergeant Mark here. Figured I'd send a message to my good old friend Butters. I'm sitting here today watching TV and all these fake insane bullshit going on with people trying to impeach Trump because, you know, he won. And I'm thinking, can anything get any more insane than this ridiculous impeachment of our great president? I didn't think anything could, but then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, your Pats come into the picture. And these sons of bitches are cheating against the 1-50 Cincinnati Bengals. It's over, buddy. Tommy boy, wrap it up. You're done. Pats, you're done. Butters, I hope you enjoyed all those parades because it is over. Done. See ya, goddamn cheaters. Go Birds.
Hey, Mark, thanks for bringing that much energy to the podcast. Listen, there's one thing I don't understand. I don't understand why a Trump supporter doesn't like the New England Patriots. They have a lot of similarities. They don't follow the rules. They have a fan base that doesn't care what they do. They just follow them religiously. They both have crybabies that just want to eliminate all their wins. And in spite of all that, they just keep winning. Foo, you really should be a New England Patriots supporter. Next up, one of my little brothers. He's actually older than me, but I think of him as a little brother, John from VA.
What's up, guys? I gotta thank my pal, Creamy Butters. That sounds a little bit creamy, haha. But Opie, keep up the fantastic work. You and Carl had a great chemistry. You all still do. You miss him. But you have many friends. And you know what? Fuck the haters. Just do you. Happy holidays. Godspeed. Thanks, Butters.
John, thank you, you adorable little fuck. Carly, how do people get their stuff on the Opie Radio podcast?
Have you always wanted to be a star? Well, now it's easy. Just record a voice memo and send it to Creamy Butters. You might even hear yourself on the all-new Opie Radio podcast.
If you're wondering if she's as beautiful as she sounds, she's actually more beautiful. Everybody, if you want to get your audio on, just email creamybutters@gmail.com and we'll get you on. Most importantly, don't forget to join the Opie Radio Podcast Facebook group and join the fucking party.
Boo, 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 boo.
Opie Radio.
Boo, 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 boo. Boom, 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 boom. Boo, 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 boo. Boo, 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 boo. Boo, 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 boo.